Hello everyone, Luke here. Now before I get into the review, just want to say a couple of quick little things. Happy Easter. Hope you guys had a really good one. I know I did. It was a nice, pleasant, relaxing day that I had, playing some games and also watching some more Total Drama action with Tyler over on Discord. So yeah, getting through that series pretty well, so look forward to that video when it goes up on Control Chaos. And also as well, this week we Mission Yozakura took the main page, like it took front and center, because of obviously the anime adaptation coming out, and so yeah, we got nice colour pages that we can really look at. So without further ado, let's just dive right into it. Okay, so this will be chapter 220, titled Shinso vs. Selfa. Obviously, calling back to when we had Futaba versus Heel Theory. Now, the thing is that this will be obviously my 99th review in a row of the series. I know I did chapter 100 and 100B when to kind of get me into the groove of reviewing this series and making sure that yeah, this is something I can work with. So yeah, next week will be my 100th review. Like wow, it's been quite a journey going from 122 to 221, and 100 reviews in a row over two plus years. So very happy with that. Like very happy that I've finally got like because I always had that notion of like, okay, didn't do it with Promised Neverland, didn't do it with Dr. Stone, maybe with Mission Yozakura I can finally break the 100 streak, and yep, finally done that. So very happy with that. We've finally gotten to that point. Now debating whether or not to have cake next week, so look forward to find out if I will have cake or not. If I do, might be something small, you just don't know. But anyway, getting into chapter proper, we start off with the colour pages, where we have obviously a recap of what happened at the end of that chapter. But the funny thing is the meta joke that we have here, where we have Shion thinking like, we finally get the lead colour pages in the magazine, but Tails nowhere to be found. I love like even the author I know is like, yeah, the main character, because it even says here the main character was and has been totally absent for the several previous chapters. So I like that reverential humour. So maybe when the anime does get to this point, maybe it'll be like with Bleach, when we'll like have anime original scenes where we'll cut to Taiyo and Mutsumi and find out what they're doing. But I just love the self-referential humour here of like, yeah, finally getting the colour pages lead cover, you're finally getting the respect you deserve, and the main character isn't even here. But anyway, the main colour page is just showing all the Yozakuras together, including Ai and Aika, obviously keeping the fact that yeah, they are technically part of the family now. But interesting to note here is that you have Futaba's colour scheme of her hair. Now in the anime it's been portrayed as all white, whereas here it's more like pinkish white. Unless it seemed okay. So yeah, it seems like all the white aspects, so like, because you have Karicho's shirt, which is normally white, now it's pink. Okay, so yeah, that kind of makes sense. So yeah, Futaba's like official colour scheme of hair is all white. So yeah, really nice colour page of just everyone celebrating like, yeah, we're finally getting the respect we deserve. But moving into the chapter properly, now it's now we have Alpha going. The Alpha Watch typically uses touch controls, but now I can direct it with my mind. I can manipulate it more quickly and precise. So he uses Omega Knight to snare Shinso. So this is kind of interesting here in the fact that because his blooming is sort of coming out, he's now able with his mind to mentally control his Alpha Watch. So he doesn't even have to like physically. He doesn't even have to actually say anything. He just has to like. He just has to actually mentally think like, okay, what move do I want to use? Oh, Omega Knight, and it can activate it in response to his brainwave. So that's kind of an interesting aspect there, and I wonder if that's gonna be developed more as he gets older, because in this form he's still technically only 4 years old. So I wonder if like this all aspect is going to get more improved the older he actually gets. But of course, this being Shinso and him being really flexy and bulky and muscly, he's able to just flex the Omega Knight just right off his body, as he explains that all it takes is an even application of enough pressure from inside the crack Uon. Of course, right now I'm the only one I know who can pull this off. but as we have Shion going, advanced technology to dust by pure muscle, and we have Keigo going like, oh, the tragedy of that situation before Shinzo continues to explain that Ukon's ability to expand the large size is an advantage, yeah, but it's much denser and stronger in a small size. So to keep it more effective and to keep it close to the skin, he's using it as an example reinforcement, as he's calling it super gloves with this attack, and he's obviously presented as like really super important. So like, I call this super glove, so with this attack I will be able to do anything, before we have him being cut off by Keigo and Shion, just and Nano just being like super like, they're probably thinking like, how cliche can you actually be here to call something like that that super glove, like Shinzo, couldn't you have come up with anything better? That's probably what's going through their minds right now. And Shinzo there is just like, stop laughing. I'm trying to be serious here. Serious here, because it was like, oh yeah, super glove with this attack I can do. But what are you laughing at? I'm trying to be serious here. I just love those comedic moments with the phone where it's like, oh, I thought something super badass and awesome, and then no, and then you have the other members over there laughing like, that's the lamest thing I've ever heard. But of course, Alpha's just like, I've had enough of this comedic routine, as he uses something called Omega Rook, which is basically just like a Kamehameha beam that is fired directly in Shinzo's path. And of course, Shinzo being Shinzo is just like, oh, okay, you're firing a beam at me, that's nice, but that's not nothing I can't handle. So he brings his fist over with the super gloves as they just like bounce right off it. So it's kind of like, okay, so the beam is coming this way, his glove, and then it just breaks off and then just goes around Shinzo. So that's kind of like what happened with the beam right there. As we see it. Oh my god, I didn't even notice this in the chapter when I first read it, but I'm now seeing it now. So yeah, the beam fires at Shinzo. He blocks it with super glove. The beam splits off and it hits both Keigo, Shion, and Nano. As they're just like, oh my god, okay, we've got to get out of here before anything else happens. And this obviously is this. And I should have really picked it up when this actually happened, because Shinzo's just like, okay, careful, you three, there'll be dangers, and they're just like, no, you dog, warn us sooner if you're gonna do something like that. So yeah, that makes sense why they actually said that now, because they almost got hit by Omega Rock, and yeah. Alpha doesn't even give Shinzo any reason to relax here, as you see him just starting to dive right at him. And Shinzo Shinzo starts to think like, oh, he rode an electrical current. His extreme toughness coupled with gloves made of material similar to my Alpha Watch. There's no fight I can win on it. Okay, so this is Alpha saying this. So Shinzo says he rode an electrical current, and then Alpha's saying like, oh, there's no way I can win a match against Shinzo like this because of his extreme toughness coupled with the gloves made from similar material to my Alpha Watch. Yeah, going up against Shinzo, who's a gold rank spy, even though Alpha is powerful for his age, he's still not a rank spy, and Shinzo is a gold rank spy and has been for over 10 years at this point. So yeah, there's no way Alpha, and I like that, like Alpha's me, like, yeah, even though I'm strong and I could potentially take Shinzo on if we were just stripped down, maybe possibly. The fact that he has the gloves means that I can no longer win this fight against him. As he continues on and says, wise to launch a surprise attack from a bright spot. And yeah, that is wise, because even if you're incredibly smart, if you don't see something coming, it can really catch you off guard. So as Alpha is coming after Shinzo to try and knock him out of one spot, he thinks like, which spot can it is? I think we're gonna go for the next. So he uses like a martial arts technique, basically like the call me Jackie Chan, call me Bruce Lee, call me, boom, hits the back of his neck, and he's just like, an ambulance. So yeah, he hits the back of the neck. You see, like the comedic moment, like here, like Shinzo's just there, like, and then you have Alpha going, ow! Yeah. So what is Shinzo's neck made of? Like seriously, what is it made of? Almond hockey from One Piece? Like, is it made of the things like stone? Stone? Like, what was that made of? And Shinzo tries to calm him down as Alpha's just like ow, 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 and Shinzo's just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Alpha. It was a nice attack, no, but I'm really, really sorry. You shouldn't have hit me in that spot because that was not a blind spot, and I should have warned you at that point. And Shion's just there like, well, Cole, that's dumping salt in the wound, and this is where they start to play referee with Shinzo, just being like, right, you're off the pitch right now, that was a foul move that you made there, enough, you've overwhelmed the poor kid, tried to punch far above his weight, that was hard to watch, but Shinzo's just there like, hey, you do realise that our family scuffles have always been just going out, no holds barred, doesn't matter who we are, and Alpha got himself into this situation because of the fact that we got him here, even though we had a meeting to decide how to trigger Alpha's blooming, and I told you all guys that this was a risky method. Like, I knew this was all that I had an idea that this would probably all happen, even though he never met Bad Alpha before because of his being his wedding. Like, he kind of had a feeling like this could go south really, really badly, and yeah, we all agreed to this. No going whole bar, no holding back to kind of get his blooming out. And what happened? We let Alpha get hurt. We're adults, so we have to take responsibility. Not just me, but all of us. So I like that. Like, Shinzo's taking the initiative of saying, like, yes, we did go far with Alpha, but at the same time, I warned you guys this would be happening, and this is what happened, so you guys have got to take responsibility just as much as I've got to take responsibility. And this brings them both down the peg. Shion and Keigo just like, yeah, he's right, I can't believe, like, he's being the big brother that he should be at this point. Before he goes on and says to Alpha, like, we're really sorry, we should have found a better way of doing this. This was our fault, so we'll call it off now. The Alpha's blooming for now. We don't want you hurting yourself any further. But Alpha's just like, no, I can't cut it off now. I need to know what that whole vision was of seeing you guys dead. I need to figure this out. When I delivered those electric shocks in my mind, it felt like my vision expanded, like my mind cleared. So I guess, like I said, this might be a case of like, okay, like I said last week, is blooming might be like, okay, you can perceive a certain point of the future, but I don't think you can perceive all futures. So this is one future outcome that he's probably perceiving, and it's sort of like his blooming will be able to time like what a negative thing will happen to his family and how he'll be able to overcome it. But he says, sorry, Uncle, I need to really figure out how to get this blooming activated so that I can figure out what that vision actually was. As we see Shinzo grab Alpha's arm and literally break it into dust, but of course this wasn't really Alpha's arm. It was a dummy. It was a dummy, smaller, stronger, right against skin, as Alpha lands a gut punch, like quite literally a gut punch. Like, he goes full force with everything and just lands it right on Shinzo, who feels like the impact of this punch. This punch really does feel to Shinzo, as he says, as Alpha says, he felt that one, but as we know, this is Shinzo, so it's probably like, oof, oof. It was probably something like that he felt. Obviously, much bigger than what I did right there. But of course, Shinzo is a bit more bulkier than I'll ever be. So it's probably like, oof, oh, yeah, I felt that, but. So it still wasn't enough. As we see, as Alpha is trying to do this, we see another version of him coming up. So when I first saw this, I was like, wait, what's going on? 2 Alphas, but then I remember like, oh, okay, because Alpha has a split personality with Bad Alpha and Good Alpha. So I assumed that this was that is confirmed that, oh yeah, this is the rational side of Bad Alpha coming out here, as he says, oh, you don't need to do that, you know there's another way to reach your blooming, and yeah, this is where Alpha is just like really confused. Like, wait, what? I was so focused on what's going on. Like, where are we right now? And Rational Alpha says, "Oh, I'm in your mind. I'm the one blocking your blooming." And this confused him really much right here. Before he says, "Oh, Bad Alpha isn't some separate personality," which makes it like. Even though they say like, oh, this separate, no, it's really just two sides of the same coin here. When the stress gets too bad, and you're about to bloom, I step in and tap down on it. So yeah, Rational Alpha is the one basically stomping out his blooming and making it be like, no, you're not in a position to activate your blooming because you're too emotionally unstable to make it so that it's very much effective. That half of blooming, half not question is Bad Alpha. So in a way, I was kind of right that Bad Alpha is technically still part of his blooming. Like when I first thought like Bad Alpha was his blooming, like I wasn't exactly wrong. I was just kind of like not quite there yet, but it's still quite a stage to get into activating his blooming overall. Rational Alpha goes on to explain that, oh, you've realised it, right, Bad Alpha? You're scared of your blooming, that you've been deliberately blocking it, which does make sense because, like I said, I don't know how would anyone perceive, how would anyone react to their whole family being dead right below their feet. So even I would be in alpha state of like, no, I don't want to think about that. But at the same time, because it is pretty much a part of it, pretty much a example of what his blooming ability is going to be. It had to be shown, even though he is scared of that ever happening. It's kind of the same thing of what happened with Shinzo when he activated his blooming, and it was his destroy blooming, and that kind of like freaked him out as well. So it kind of makes sense why Shinzo was the one to go up against Alpha in this situation, because the way Alpha is sort of like getting his blooming to bloom essentially is kind of a similar thing to what happened with Shinzo. So yeah, if you want to know what that was, which is what Russian Alpha is saying, then there's only one thing to do. If I let my blooming happen, will I understand it? Which is what Bad Alpha is asking him, and Rational Alpha goes on and says, probably this is a first time for me too. I can't say for sure, but if you're too scared, you can quit. So I guess this means that if he's too scared to activate his blooming, he won't activate it. Is that what he's trying to say? Is that what he's trying to say here? I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know on that front. But yeah, Bad Alpha goes on and says like, I must know this, and you see them shaking hands. So yeah, it's like I said, like Bad Alpha, even though he is technically a different personality from the regular Alpha, he is still part of Alpha. So yeah, so he's still it's still Alpha overall, just like how Rational Alpha is. It's just like they've got to be, I feel like they've had to be in sync with one another in order to properly control and get this blooming to the state that it has to be at. Yeah, that's pretty much and he said it's, yeah, that's pretty much established. Like, sorry, I lost my train of thought there, but yeah, basically, Bad Alpha is still part of Alpha in the same way Rational Alpha is, and I feel like they need to both be together in order to get the blooming activated to its fullest potential. And Bad Alpha says, "I must know for my family's sake, and if the key to my blooming is." And if the key is my blooming, then I won't hesitate, because he must know like what it all meant. Like, is it a vision of the future? Is that what his blooming is going to be? And this is where we see Rational Alpha grinning and being like, yeah, I'm satisfied, as we see Alpha as being completely knocked out here, and Keigo is obviously in a nun outfit, and they're like, oh, thank God, I thought we would have to plan a funeral here or anything, and I was scared to half death about it, which is what Shion says, before Shinzo says, oh, his feelings broken and his fights look stable. But this is where they all start to get confused about something here. Like, you see them all just being like, what is happening right now with Alpha? And we then cut to Asa trembling. Like, you see him putting on a block here, on a Jenga block. So he's playing a Jenga block with one of his kids, and he's just there like trembling as he's asked, "Oh, what's wrong, Dad?" And you just see him like he's sensing that Alpha's blooming is fully activated at this point, in a similar way to what probably Nee went through when she first saw Hiyofumi's blooming. But yeah, yeah, and the fact that we're seeing Asa trembling here, you know that is business, because to see the main villain of this entire series trembling like that over something, of just being like feeling this enormous presence, is like, oh my god, that just makes him even more scary, especially when he's like in the dark shades of just being like, oh my god. Every time we see Asa in this series, it doesn't fail to freak me out here, as he just says, "It's begun." As this is where the chapter ends, where we see his blooming fully activating, Alpha's blooming, as we see a third eye opening over his head. So Alpha has a third eye as part of his blooming. Alpha has a third eye as part of his blooming. So what does this mean? Does this mean he's opened all his chakras? Like his third eye chakras? I don't know, but I feel like with this revelation about this being, because it feels like the eye probably represents the three sides of Alpha, so like his normal side, his bad Alpha side, and then his rational Alpha side, all coming together to fully awaken this blooming. That seems to be the perspective of what I'm getting at here. Now, again, what this ability is, we'll just have to wait until next week. Like, so 100th chapter review next week, we might get the answer to what Alpha's blooming is. Now, I'm still going to go on my idea of like this blooming, like the third eye gives him like an idea of like what the future is going to be like, or what possible negative future could be for the family, and how he can be able to overcome it. That's the idea that I'm going off here. It might be something completely different. It might be something similar, but works in a completely different way. Like it shows him like the direct future of where he's going, but won't show him like how he can overcome it. But that's something we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. This has been Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.